What's up, everybody? We are back at it with a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. And today's positive motivational message is lean in to what you love. And what I mean by that is think about the things you love the most in life. It could be a wide assortment of things. For me, it was music. Music is one of my many loves. And we can have 2, 3, 4 great loves in life. But with music, I leaned into it by creating music. I was a fan of music. I started out as just a fan. I loved it. I loved going to concerts. I loved listening. But I took that and I went beyond that. I love music so much, I wanted to be a part of it. Embrace your loves. Take whatever it is that you truly love in life and fully embrace it. Fully propel yourself into those worlds. Because we can be a fan of many things. We can love these things. We can love all kinds of things. But it takes a step beyond to engulf yourself into it, to really consume yourself and push into that. Because the things we know best, the things we have the most knowledge about, are the things that we love the most in life. So why not take the opportunity to become a greater part of those things? Lean into the things that you love the most. And you will soon turn your fanhood of those things into a hobby or a career, things of that nature. So whatever it is that you love, video games, gardening, it can be anything, cooking, anything that you love. You can go beyond just being a fan. You can become part of that industry or part of that culture or whatever it may be. So look into the things that you love. It could be 4 or 5 things. It could be one thing. You could pick one of your many loves. Or you could do all of them. Another thing, entertainment. I've always loved entertainment, and yet here I am doing the podcast thing. If you wanted to start a podcast and talk specifically about your love, whatever it may be, there you go. Now you have a niche. For me, I have so many loves, and I just love the idea of entertainment. That's why this podcast is so all over the place. Just something to think about. Don't just love the thing. Embrace it. Become a part of it. Put yourself all into those things, and you will feel more fulfilled for those things. You already have the knowledge. You already know. So put that to use. Become a greater part of it. So that's what we're going to get started with. And let's get on rolling into this episode. It is episode 167 of Life's a Garden. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Life's a Garden. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, follow, like, share, do all the stuff to help us grow this garden. And another reminder, if you haven't yet, please go check out my band's brand new EP, Palomar, available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you can find music. Please go check that out. We'd much appreciate that. Now, it is a very, very exciting week because football is back. Always one of my favorite times of the year. We got winter, fall, summer, and spring, and none of those seasons matter nearly as much as football season. Football season, greatest time of the year. As much as I love watching basketball and UFC, I'm a huge UFC fan, none of it compares to football. At the end of the season, I'm a Broncos fan, and they've been pretty disappointing seasons the last few years. By the time the season rolls around, by the time the season's over, once playoffs start, I'm all back in, because Broncos are out. I can enjoy watching other teams play and win, and if people lose, it doesn't hurt my feelings. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I get pissed off. But we have a nice offseason. We have time to reset. We come back. The beginning of the season is always so exciting. And this week is week 1 of football. We got a lot of sports talk to get into. We're going to get it kicked off straight away with the sports talk because, let's just start with football. That's the main theme this week, right? This weekend alone is just a busy, fun-filled, packed week. I guess I should refer to it as last weekend since this will be coming out Monday, but we are in the thick of it right now. This is a huge, packed sports weekend. You know what? Let's start with college football, actually. I've never really been a huge college football guy. I've followed it, and I'll watch an occasional game, but I've never really gotten into college football. I kind of started a little bit last year. Honestly, it actually probably started with LSU and Joe Burrow and watching that championship game. I always watch the championship games, but that one really, I think I followed the Joe Burrow story a little closer than I normally would watch. I remember back in the day, I really followed those Oregon Duck teams, but nothing ever consistent. This year, actually last year was probably the most college football I'd ever watched. And it's carrying over to this year, because I've fully embraced the last 2 weeks of college football. Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buff, are you kidding me right now? Deion is leading the charge in what is an absolute overhaul of the Colorado Buff. Now, I have quietly been a Colorado Buffs fan. There's never been anything to get too heavy on the bandwagon of. They've never really been a huge competitor when it comes to D1 college football. But of course, they're Colorado. Boulder, Colorado is just like right outside Denver. That's all my sports teams are Colorado based. So of course, the Buff have always been the college team from there that I was like, I support them. I back them. I'm not I'm not out buying the merch. I'm not just like a flaunting Colorado Buff fan. Because when it comes to college football, I'm more of a players fan. I like watching Alabama sometimes. I'm a little sick of Alabama, but I still enjoy watching. Like I said, the Oregon Ducks were a team I followed for a while there. Tennessee Volunteers have always been a fun team for me to watch. So I bounce around a little bit. I'm not committed to a college team per se. But the Colorado Buff have always been one that I've had connections to, let's say. And now that they are officially starting to whoop some ass and they're exciting to watch, they're ranked 22. And they just beat the shit out of Nebraska, who isn't top tier like they used to be anymore. But they have a solid defense. And what Deion Sanders has done in college football this year is nothing short of miraculous. Completely overhauled the team, brought in his own guys, and they're all studs. Travis Hunter is easily a Heisman candidate, playing both sides of the ball. You got Shadir Sanders, Deion's son, playing quarterback at an elite level in college. Went from D2 to D1, and now, I don't know. It's crazy. It's really, really awesome to see. Huge fan. I'm following the Buff this year. That's my team I'm hitching the wagon to. And I'm not even hitching the wagon. As I already mentioned, they've always been a team that I liked. Hell, when I was back in the day playing NCAA EA Sports, that was my team I picked. Colorado Buff. Because Colorado connection. Now, if there is a team that I am absolutely a diehard, I will fly the flag. I will always be a true fan of in college football. It's the Montana Grizz. Obviously not D1, but when it comes to what's the division? It's not FBS because that's what the Buff are in. It is it FCS? I don't know. D2, we'll say. D2 college football. The Montana Grizz, all day. and they're off to a good start. I watched last week's game. It's been great to enjoy some Grizz football. So excited to see how they do this year. The Cats are always going to be a threat. They have a tough team. But here's an interesting story for you. So just yesterday, I installed a windshield they were pushing this car through. It was a used car. They sold it. It needed a windshield. And as I'm doing the windshield on it, the salesperson brings back the customer for this vehicle. And they're looking it over. They're just like checking it out, waiting for me to finish up. And he's completely decked head to toe in MSU Bobcat stuff. So me, being the ever diehard Grizz fan, decided I'd give him a little treat with his windshield. So when you cut out the windshield, you got the bottom part of the vehicle that you wouldn't ever see otherwise, as long as the windshield's... The only way you'd see it is if the windshield is out. So I took it upon myself to take a Sharpie and ever so nicely write on the metal underneath the windshield, "Go Grizz." So that Bobcat fan, unknowing to himself, is driving around with "Go Grizz" written just right under his windshield. And that's my slight little spite that I can offer to the world against the Bobcats. But yeah, so we got college football. This weekend, we got some UFC fights. Israel Adesanya taking on Sean Strickland. Very excited about that. I wasn't so sure if that was going to be a sellable fight. Israel Adesanya is always going to sell because he's one of the most popular fighters in the UFC right now. And Sean Strickland's kind of always been a guy that's... You hear about him, but you never really think of him as a contender. He's getting his opportunity now. And I'm going to be straightforward with you. Sean Strickland might slowly becoming one of my favorite UFC fighters. He's crazy. He's wild. He says some off-collar shit and says some wild shit. But that's what's kind of exciting about him. He's a loose cannon. You don't really know what you're going to expect. And the dude absolutely loves to fight. He is a fighter's fighter. He will... And that's kind of what makes him dangerous in this fight, is he's not doing it for the championship necessarily. Like, yes, there's a title on the line, but he's doing it because he loves to fight. As far as the outcome, I don't know. I think Izzy's definitely got levels above Sean Strickland in a lot of realms. I think Sean has a weak chin compared to Izzy, but I think Sean could put on that pressure. I'm not saying... I would definitely say, if I was betting, I would bet on Adesanya to win. But there's a danger factor here with Sean Strickland. He's coming into this with nothing to lose and everything to gain. He is a wild, just fighter in general. Like, he will go in headstrong, head first, and just throwing haymakers. He could wear out Izzy. He could become too much. And the biggest factor with Sean Strickland on Izzy, he's not intimidated by Izzy at all. In fact, he's so calm and nonchalant, and the way he's talking to Izzy, the way he's been shit-talking him, I honest to God think he may have kind of rattled Izzy a little bit. And now I'm not saying anything negative about Izzy here. I know Izzy is a very mentally strong fighter. But something about the way Izzy is approaching this fight tells me, I don't think Izzy's afraid of Sean, but I do think Sean's words have somewhat rattled Adesanya. And it's not so much specifically what he's saying, but the way the crowd has backed Sean Strickland. The way the crowd is embracing Sean Strickland, I think is kind of taking a mental effect on Izzy. Because Izzy's so used to being the fan favorite. And now it's kind of a toss-up. The crowd is kind of divided. And I think it's the excitement of Sean Strickland. It's the uncertainty of Sean Strickland. The wildness that people are enjoying. Plus, he's an American guy, so America's backing him. And here's what I'll say, too, about Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland and my cousin Aaron are absolutely the same person. They're wild, they love to fight, and they say crazy shit. And they kind of look similar. So, that's enough for me. I'm actually gonna put a $20 bet on Sean Strickland just because he's such a heavy underdog. And I do think it wouldn't be the craziest thing if he came out with a win. Do I think it's actually gonna happen? Not really. But it's worth putting a wager on. A $20 wager, it's worth seeing for the long shot. We've seen a lot of big upsets. And this has Bisping versus Luke Rockhold written all over it. It could easily happen. Not saying it will, but it could. The rest of the card is pretty mediocre, to be honest. Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. That could be interesting. That'll be a fun fight, but it doesn't make me, it doesn't get me out of bed super excited. It's super excited. I'm, of course, going to go watch the fight. And remember last time when we were talking about UFC fights? I told you Hooligans was showing the Sean O'Malley fight, and I was so bummed that I was going to miss it because they never show fights. Well, guess what? Fights are back on at Hooligans. Your boy's going to be sitting front and center at the bar. I'm getting down there early just to make sure I got a seat. Will it fill out? I don't know. I hope it does. Because if it does for this fight, it's going to for all the next cards. Because the rest of the cards are stacked. Now moving on to... We're going to keep this sports train a-rolling. And of course, we end it off with NFL football. The NFL season... The 2023 NFL season could not have gotten started off in a better way, with the Kansas City Chiefs absolutely dropping the ball. And when I say that, I'm of course referring to Kadarius Toney, who couldn't catch a cold. The Kansas City Chiefs drop the ball against the Detroit Lions. I could easily go ahead, I'm not going to disrespect the Detroit Lions. They were historically one of the worst teams in NFL history. That's historic. We're talking about today. We're talking about the Detroit Lions of right now. Last year, they put up, I think, some of the most points and yardage in the entire league. They ended off the season strong, and they're carrying it into this season. I have no disrespect for the Detroit Lions. They are a brand new team. Dan Campbell has completely overhauled that team. And so... the Detroit Lions go into Kansas City on banner night. They're coming off, the Kansas City Chiefs are coming off a Super Bowl victory. Remember this. Don't forget, I hate the Chiefs. I hate them with a fiery passion. They're a rival. I'll go for anybody over the Chiefs, except maybe the Raiders. And the Detroit Lions pull off the upset and defeat Kansas City in Kansas City on banner night. Nothing could be sweeter for me to watch. And of course, if the Broncos pull off a win on Sunday against the Raiders, that puts us in a great position to start the season. 1-0. The Raiders and the Chiefs would be 0-1. It's a huge game for the Raiders or the Broncos in this scenario. And I don't bet on my teams, okay? But I will put out, I'm not going to actually put money on it, but I'll make a wager here right now. And we'll find out when this comes out if I was right. I have a gut feeling that the Broncos, and this is obviously the bias optimist in me, the Broncos are going to destroy the Los Angeles Raiders. I would bet plus 9.5 that the Broncos are going to beat the Raiders. We're at least going to beat them by 10. And I think it's going to be an absolute demolition. They're already in the Raiders are already in trouble. They've had issues with Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones probably won't be playing. Josh McDaniels is probably one of the worst head coaches in the NFL right now. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be Derek Carr. they might come out firing a little hot to start the season, but toward the end, it's all going to crumble down. And I think it's going to crumble this week. I think the Denver Broncos, under Sean Payton, are going to go in and they're going to shock the world. We're not playing this 3-point bullshit. We're not going to lose or win by a small margin. We are going to go in there and we are going to dominate. That is my official prediction. My completely unbiased prediction. But yeah, so we got a lot of good football. Of course, I'm going to be down there at Hooligans putting on sports bets. Not on the Broncos, but I will be doing some parlays. And we got fantasy football. Very excited about that. I got 3 awesome teams this year. So stoked. And we just keep on rolling. Now, here's the thing, okay? I just completely overloaded you with sports talk. I just talked all kinds of sports with you. Broke it down, college football, UFC, NFL. As I started this episode off, I told you about leaning into your love, okay? With football starting, it completely takes over my weekends, okay? I love football so much. I watch I watch as many games as I possibly can. At least in the beginning, for sure. It does get a little tiring as the season goes on. It gets to be a little bit much watching Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and all day Sunday. And then you add in the factor of I'm starting to watch college football, so that's all day Saturday. And then you have UFC fights, which are always Saturday nights. With this all happening, like I said, it kind of takes hostage of my weekends. My weekends become completely about football. And for a long time, I thought of that as a kind of a crutch, like a negative. I felt bad that I was allowing sports just to completely take over my weekend. I didn't have time to do other things. Any errands I needed to get done would have to be done during the week. It takes away 2 full days, right? And I looked at it kind of as a positive negative. This year, it took me turning 30, okay, for me to come to this realization. I don't give a fuck. I'm so excited to have sports. I mean, I don't care that it takes up my weekend because I love it. I love sports. I love watching football. I love watching fights. And to reiterate the way I opened this episode, I'm leaning in to what I love. Rather than looking at it like a time waster, absolutely not. It's the best way I could spend my time because I'm doing the thing I love. I got time to do all that other shit. All that other shit can be done on other days. When football's on, that's what I'm doing because I love it. That's how much I love it. Some people don't look at it that way, and that's fine. You have your other things that you love. For me, I'm going into it the best I can. Like you could think about it like I don't have time with my friends. That's the complete opposite. Watching football is the time I actually get to hang out with my friends anymore because they all got families and stuff. So now football has become the one time of the week that I actually get to hang out with my friends. So it's a complete positive. And I'm leaning in. I'm all in. And with that, I think we just I don't know. It's there's the side of leaning into what you love, as I said before, where you can become part of it. Now, in reality, I could go the step of being like, I'm going to try and get into sports journalism, or I'm going to actually try and be a coach or something like that. But those specific things aren't things I love. I don't love to write. I don't love to coach. I like to watch. I like to consume. I'm a fan. And I'm going to go all in on being a fan. And that's what I'm saying here. The mood is blessed. we're here to bless the mood. Um, I gotta show you. Has anybody out there seen that video of Matthew McConaughey trying to hype up the crowd, singing "Bless the Mood," which I don't truly believe is an actual song. I think he just kind of made it up. Let's go. I'm actually gonna pull that up real quick, because if you have not seen this, you have to watch this. This is hilarious. Let's go ahead and get that pulled up real quick.
What if you could
And
do
it's gonna
SEO
hit me with an
smarter
ad.
and faster? With Wix, you can edit your meta
Fucking ads.
Yes, it is time to believe that what happens in here from now on can and will change the world.
It's some ribbon cutting thing.
Yes. Will you do this with me? Just because it'll make me feel good.
Okay, wait. We gotta go back. Okay, just to set the tone here as to what's going on. Okay. It's a ribbon cutting ceremony for I believe he's a big Texas Longhorns fan, college football, and so yeah. Okay, the video, the title of this is Matthew McConaughey blesses Moody Center. Okay. That just changed the whole thing. So it's the Moody Center is the name of this place. I think it has something to do with the Texas Longhorns and the campus. Matthew McConaughey blesses Moody Center with original song. So this wasn't a song. He just makes this up. Now, let's continue. He's for some reason, he must have donated or something to do with this. But he's giving this speech, and there's a big crowd, and I believe the city council and all these people are here.
Yes. Will you do this with me? Just because it'll make me feel good. It is time to bless the mood. Are you ready to bless the mood? Are you ready to bless the mood? Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please. Are you ready to bless the mood?
Okay, so uncomfortable, right? Everybody on this stage is completely uncomfortable. There's all these fucking people in suits out here. They're all, I don't know what the fuck they're, like, why they're even here. The people on the stage make sense. And like I said, I think they're city council people or the people who are involved with this center. And then you have all these random people in the crowd for whatever reason. Yeah, there's cheerleaders on the side over here. So this clearly has something to do with the campus. The fact that this is called the Moody Center, and he decides, I'm just going to make up this song and be like, we're going to bless the mood. And let's just go back real quick here. The way he says this. Listen to the way he says this.
Change the world. Yes. Will you do this with me? Just because it'll make me feel good. It is time.
So insecure. He already knows in his heart that this probably won't go over the way he wants it to. Either one of two things. He planned this out premeditatively. He already thought about doing this and was like, I'm definitely doing this. In fact, I know just based on that alone, he clearly did. He was like, I'm going to do the bless the mood thing. Oh, he was, you know how Matthew McConaughey is? Have you ever listened to him talk? He completely talks in riddles. So he's probably driving. It's either the night before or he's driving to this event. And he's going, you know, I probably got to put a little staple on the end of this speech here. I don't know. Probably got to spice it up a little bit. Maybe we'll do a little song. Maybe we'll do a little chant with the cheerleaders. No. Let's do a little song. Let's see, it's called the Moody Center, so we're here having a good time. It's a good mood. Why don't we bless the mood? We're blessing the center, and we're all having a good time. We're all in a good mood. Let's bless that. Let's bless that mood. Let's see, what can we do there? Bless the mood. Yep, that's it. And he just decided, like, that's what it's going to be. He is... He's an interesting cat. Let's just go with that.
To bless the mood. Are you ready to bless the mood? Are you ready?
Can you imagine being in that crowd and he just starts doing this. Like, how absolutely thrown off would you be?
Ready to bless the mood? Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please. Are you ready to bless the mood? Are you ready to? Come on now, give me some backup. Bless the mood. 1, 2, 3. Are you ready to bless the mood? Are you ready to bless the mood?
Nobody's helping him. Literally, he's trying. Oh my God, it's so fucking awkward. He's trying so hard to get them to do that, and nobody wants to do it because it's so fucking weird. Like I said, what? Like, he didn't clue anybody in on the stage about this. Had he gotten them involved, had he like tried to get them to do it, and was like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing at the end of the thing, so just help me out with this. If they would have been into it, the rest of the crowd might have got involved. You see the cheerleaders off to the side, like they're like, oh yeah, okay, we'll do a little thing. Like, they weren't clued in on this, and the thing. The worst part, the cringiest part of this is that he even is like, come on, everybody, help me out here. Come on. He's like, and he keeps going, bless the mood. And still nobody, he begs them to help him. And nobody gets involved. All these people on the stage, not a single one of them is doing this with him. Nobody. They're just looking on awkwardly. Nobody's even giving a little clap. Nothing. And then when he goes back to do it, when he's like, come on, everybody, I need some backup. He goes up an octave, and you can tell where he gets the most insecure about it. When he realizes this is failing, this isn't going to work, but I'm stuck in this. I'm already doing this bit. I'm stuck in it, and I'm going to keep rolling with it. The moment he changes octaves and tries to go up to get people more hyped, listen to his voice. He immediately, you can tell how insecure he is.
The mood. I need some help, please. Are you ready to bless the mood?
See, nobody's into it.
Are you ready?
He knows nobody's into it.
Now, give me some backup.
Right here.
Bless the mood. 1, 2, 3. Are you ready to bless the mood? Are you ready to bless the mood?
Nobody.
Are you
Nobody.
ready to bless the mood? Come on, CDC. Are you ready?
Look at that! Oh my God, bro! He pointed at one of the guys on the stage. He points at him and says, come on, brother, like, help me out. And the guy goes, no. The guy puts his hand and goes, no, I'm good. What?
To bless the mood. Are you ready to bless the mood? Here it is.
Gave up.
Are we ready to bless
Gave
the mood?
up.
It starts right now. Thank you, Irwin Center. The memories we have there, we're bringing over here, but it's time to turn the page. Let's keep writing the book. Let's bless the mood. Hook 'em. Thank you, Austin.
Oh my God, bro! He tried. It failed the first time. He tried so hard to get him to do it again. Nobody, not one motherfucker in that crowd on that stage, remotely helped him. And look how awkward he's walking off. He's so embarrassed. He's either so embarrassed, he's probably shaking because of how awkward he knows that was. And if he's not, if he's completely unfazed by that, he's an absolute psychopath. He feels nothing if that's the case. That is the most insane thing. Might be one of the hardest things I've ever had to watch. But hilarious, especially because it's Matthew McConaughey, an absolute A-list star, dealing with that. That's unbelievable. And Matthew McConaughey, I'll say this about Matthew McConaughey. He's the most middle celebrity. He's on the line right there when it comes to celebrities that are full of shit, but also could be the coolest guy ever. Like, he's the kind of guy that if you met him in the bar and you're just sitting there having a conversation with him, he's either going to be the coolest dude, he's not going to big time you, he's going to be a man of the people, he's going to just he'll easily fit in with the common folk, and you won't feel like he's a big timer. He's not going to big time you. There's that line, or he could go completely the other side and be a complete bullshit artist. He's either going to completely big time you, he's going to know he's better than you. He's the kind of guy that knows he's better than you. He knows he's bigger and better than you, but he'll either pretend not to be, or he'll fully know that and embrace that and just completely bullshit you. He's either completely lying to you, bullshitting you about every little thing, or he sincerely, while he knows he's bigger and better than you, he sincerely will give you the time of day and not be a piece of shit to you. I couldn't tell you what to expect from Matthew McConaughey. All I know, he's going to speak to you in absolute riddles and you have no idea what he's talking about. This man is insane. He is an insane man. I like the guy. He's a great actor. But he is a bizarre fella. And so thinking about other celebrities, that the ones that will completely bullshit you, like the ones that are they'll big time you. Like if you try to go up and have a drink with, let's say, Leonardo DiCaprio. He seems approachable. Leo DiCaprio seems like an approachable guy. Zero chance that he would let you sit there and talk to him or have a drink with him. He's too good. He's too good for you. He's Leo DiCaprio. He's way better than you. And he knows it. Other guys that are in that category, I would say, you could put, there's probably more of these guys. The Rock seems approachable, but I just don't think that he would be. I don't think that he'd give you that much time of a day. Who's some other big celebrities, big stars? Johnny Depp, no chance. He would never give you the time of day. George Clooney, he seems like a guy who would be approachable, but definitely isn't. He don't give a fuck. He don't want to talk to you. On the other side, though, here's a couple guys that you would think might be unapproachable, but I just have a gut feeling that they're the coolest motherfuckers and they would chill with you. As long as you weren't being a fanboy and weren't freaking out. Woody Harrelson, for sure, is a cool guy. Keanu Reeves, absolutely. You might disagree with me on this one. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt knows he's better than you, but he will pretend and he will just chill. He seems like the most chill dude. As much as a huge celebrity as he is, chill guy. Tom Cruise, no chance. Tom Cruise doesn't give you the fucking time of day in the least. The only time of day he's giving you is to try and give you a Scientology talk. But yeah, so those are Denzel. God, Denzel. That's an interesting one. I think he's another one that's on the fine line. I don't think he wants to listen to your bullshit, but at the same time, I think he could chill with you. He'd be a cool hang, I tell you that right now. Yeah, I mean, any hip-hop star, take any single hip-hop star, they'll never give you the time of day. They don't give a fuck about you. They're not men of the people, women of the people. They don't care. Country stars, rock stars, 50-50. I mean, if you take an old rock star, like somebody from the Rolling Stones, or anybody in the 80s, any 80s metal band or rock band, no chance. They don't want to talk to you in the least. They're way too good for you. Newer rock, I'd say in the 2000s to, it's pretty hit or miss, I'd probably say. Country, same. The older artists probably don't want to talk to you. They don't give a fuck. Newer ones, hit or miss. Jelly Roll seems like a guy who would just hang. He's like a guy who would chill. Athletes are probably hit or miss. You never know who's going to be cool. You never know who's going to be chill. And the ones that are going to big time you. But actors, forget about it. Speaking of celebrities, though, been a really crazy couple of weeks for celebrity deaths. We've seen a lot of big... I mean, honestly, up until now, not too many big names have died this year. But we had a freaking slew of them in the last couple weeks. Probably the biggest one being Bob Barker. R.I.P. to Bob Barker, dude. Guy made my childhood on sick days. Who didn't watch The Price is Right on a day that you were home with the flu? The guy was a legend. What did Bob Barker do before The Price is Right. Because he didn't just like fall into that role, right? Was he like a actor or what the hell did he do? Bob Barker. I'm curious about what his start was. Start in Hollywood. Because you don't just become he was a radio. He started his own radio program, The Bob Barker Show. Okay. So he was just an entertainer like that. He wasn't an actor. He wasn't anything like that. I wonder if he was a comedian or what kind of lane he was in. But yeah, Bob Barker, one of the greatest game show hosts of all time. Now okay, let's think about this. Who is the Mount Rushmore of game show hosts? Specifically hosts. Forget about what they've done outside of hosting, if they're actors or comedians or whatever. The all-time greatest game show hosts. Clearly, Bob Barker is on there. No doubt about it. Number 2, you'd have to you got to put Alex Trebek. So that's what I was going to say. We've lost 2 of the greatest in the last few years. Alex Trebek is 100% on the list of all-time greatest game show hosts. Now, here's where we get a little picky. Here's where things are going to get tough. I would personally say Steve Harvey for Family Feud. He is a good host, but a lot of it's just because of the memes and the clips that you get. He's very, very funny. He's good at it too. We've had a lot of good Family Feud hosts, but of all of them, Steve Harvey's got to be number 1 just for Family Feud. Who else do you think? I guess you could say Pat Sajak, but Pat Sajak is such a cock. I cannot get. He probably would be the number 4 because he's been on Wheel of Fortune for so long. Fuck, I'd put Vanna White over him, but she's technically not the host. So I guess it would have to be Pat Sajak if you're talking about like greatest of all time, even though he's such a cock. But he's just been doing it for so long, and Wheel of Fortune is one of the biggest game shows of all time. So I guess that would have to be it, right? I mean, comment if you think leave me a comment and let me know who you think the top 4 game show hosts of all time were. But I think I nailed it. I think that's probably gonna be it. You could maybe take out Steve Harvey and put somebody else in, but I'm just not thinking of who else it could be. But let me know. Let me know what you guys think. But other celebrity deaths that we've had, Jimmy Buffett, big time. Jimmy Buffett, let me say, I've never been a fan of Jimmy Buffett. Like, I've never really been it's not that I don't like the guy. It's just that I don't really know or care. Margaritaville, decent song. He was a party guy. That's who he was. And I respect that. The dude knew how to party. What was he? He had to be in his 70s. Couldn't have lived a more full life, to be honest. Just partied all the time. He made the Margaritaville restaurant. He was just about that life. And I like that. I love that, in fact. I love that for him. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did with as much partying as he did do. But hey, shout out to Jimmy Buffett. Wasted away again in Margaritaville. One that kind of flew under the radar a little bit, I will say, just in the grand scheme of things, but I have to make mention of Bray Wyatt. Wyndham Rotunda is his real name, but Bray Wyatt, wrestler for the WWE. And the only reason that I really want to bring this up is because he was 36. And that's like my age, bro. I've been watching the guy, like, I remember when he broke onto the scene. I kind of fell off after that, or shortly after his run. But I got to see him live here in Billings at one of the WWE events. The guy was entertaining. He was a great wrestler. He had a great gimmick. It's really sad to see that somebody that young with a blossoming career. I mean, the guy had a great career. It's not that it was blossoming. He had blossomed. He was a bona fide star in pro wrestling. And had many years ahead of him. That's the thing. That's the real shame of it all. Not only did he have a great career, he still could have had an even more great career beyond that. Dying that young, and I think they said it was heart failure. He was a bigger guy. It's interesting. He was an athlete though. The guy had cardio. He wasn't while he was a bigger guy, he wasn't unhealthy, I don't think. I don't know his lifestyle. It's just shocking anytime you see somebody die that young. So just wanted to make mention of him. And then to cap it all off, the most recent one, very close to my heart, close to all our hearts, I think. And this truly is a huge loss. The lead singer of Smash Mouth. Smash Mouth. Gone. Not surprising, I'll say that. I don't know, what's his name? I feel disrespectful not knowing his actual name. Rather just referring to him as the lead singer of Smash Mouth. I should probably say his name. Smash Mouth. Steve Harwell. Never would have known that. Yeah, man. Stunning. Smash Mouth. One of the greatest bands of all time. Of course, I'm kidding. I'm not a huge Smash Mouth fan. We all know who Smash Mouth is. I think Smash Mouth pretty much they were big in the 90s, and then they definitely recaptured fame with Shrek. Shrek made Smash Mouth. The song All-Star, I mean, realistically, great song. Like, not for me. Like, I don't love it. It's not, but it's a popular song. It was a one-hit wonder, so to say. They had Walking on the Sun. They had a couple other decent songs. They were in that crowd of, like, Third Eye Blind and Blink-182. They were kind of in that mix. Sugar Ray, that era of music. Very, very 90s style music. Rock pop, I think you would call it. But the guy was fucking an alcoholic. I think he died young, 46 or something like that, 45, something in that range. But the guy had serious liver problems. The guy was a huge alcoholic. Nonetheless, very sad to see him die. Sad to see anybody die, especially in a way like that. So just wanted to make mention of all those recent celebrity deaths. Shout out to all those guys. Great careers. Legends of the game. And all that. Just to come around to myself. You know, I've made it very public on this show how I've had ups and downs with thinking about death and this fear of death. While that has subsided to me, recently had a bit of a, I am what you would call I would say a semi-hypochondriac. If something's going wrong with me, if it's something out of the ordinary, if it's not like a cold or a stomach virus or something like that, if it seems out of the ordinary, I get very in my head about what the fuck's going on with my body. And recently, I was congested. I was stuffed up. And you know how you get like inflamed right here? Sometimes you get pressure up in the cheeks and the nose and even in the eyes when you're dealing with either allergies or a cold of some kind. That's normal. That's not too uncommon. I was getting weird pressure in the side of my head, just specifically on the right side of my head. And it was like uncommon. It felt weird. And so, of course, my brain immediately goes to, oh, I have a brain tumor. Oh, I'm having an aneurysm. Something is absolutely fucking wrong with me. That's where my brain goes. That's an odd sensation. That's an odd thing. Why is this happening? And what is actually going on? And of course, my brain goes to all the bad things, all the immediate worst possibilities. And then randomly I would get like twitches and twinges in my muscle, on my arm, in my finger, in my like hand. Nothing like overly concerning. And like yesterday I was getting random cramps and twitches in my leg. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening? This is so weird. And it could be a number of things. Maybe I didn't have enough potassium that day. I mean, I'm 30 now. Things are starting to break down on me. Okay? I need to remember that. I'm going to experience new pains and aches and weird shit. Turns out you do, in fact, have a sinus up in the side of your head area. Did not know that. And I don't know what the muscle thing was. Maybe because I've been working out or who knows. The bottom line is, it went away. All that stuff went away. It's nothing to be overly concerned about. But when my muscles are twitching, I'm like, am I having a stroke? Am I about to stroke out? Is the aneurysm in my brain causing the rest of my body to shut down? Am I clotting? Is that why my leg is acting this way? Am I starting to clot? Well, none of those things add up. If I had an aneurysm or a tumor, I'd probably be having massive headaches. No headaches. It's just been congestion. It feels like congestion in the head. And we can pretty much chalk all this up to the smoke, right? All this goddamn smoke in the air. Thank you very much, Canada. We got fires here in Montana too, so it's not all Canada's fault. But all this smoke is definitely causing some inflammation and some stuffiness in the nose. So that's what I chalked it up to, was the smoke. And speaking of smoke and fires, I better mention the Hawaii fires that have been ravaging Maui. There's all these conspiracy theories about this shit. I'm not going to hop on board with that. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what's been going on in Hawaii. All I know is there's crazy amount of fires, and it's destroyed a lot of homes. Certainly imagine there's been a few deaths involved. R.I.P. and send our thoughts to Hawaii. But then let's just full circle all of this. Bring it back around to the Rock celebrities. The Rock and Oprah come out and say they come out to ask for donations to help Hawaii. Oprah, if I'm not mistaken, is a billionaire. The Rock is probably almost a billionaire. The Rock has to be at least... He's working with several six-digit numbers. And these motherfuckers are coming out here asking us, the people who are just getting by, right? We're just trying to figure out how we're going to get gas in the tank. Or making sure that we can make the mortgage payment. And they're asking us to donate. Now, granted, I'm a giver. I'll gladly give a little bit to help out. Don't have The Rock and Oprah. Like, The Rock being that he's Samoan makes a little bit of sense. Oprah, what? She just has like a home there? Is that... Oh, please help out. I have a home there. I have a multi-million-dollar mansion there. That's her connection to fucking Hawaii? Why wouldn't you have, like, the governor come out and ask for that? Don't have these two motherfuckers who have so much money that they could just single-handedly fix this problem by themselves come out and ask me for money. That was insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah. Feel real bad for Hawaii. And on the other side of it, so we got Hawaii burning to the ground, and then Burning Man, the place where they're supposed to have fire, got flooded out in Nevada. Nevada, one of the hottest places on fucking Earth, gets flooded. So what the hell's going on? The Earth is having an absolute... Mother Earth must be on her period right now, because she's having a big old mood swing. Because we're all over the place here. Hawaii's supposed to be like a very tropical climate where you wouldn't imagine a lot of fires unless there was volcanoes involved. It's not like a dry place. It's very humid, surrounded by ocean. That's another thing. How do you get fires and not be able to put them out immediately? How do you not like have a suction system from the ocean that just sprays down the whole island? That's bizarre to me. But then also you have one of the driest, hottest places on Earth getting monsooned. These people in Burning Man had they were trapped. Their cars got stuck in the mud. They couldn't leave. They were shutting down the roads. So people were stuck there. All these fucking hippies who all these peace and love motherfuckers, and they're like, the whole idea was like, leave no trace. And then they just left their vehicles abandoned there because they couldn't get him out of the mud. It's hilarious. They should have just had Burning Man in Hawaii. Ooh, bad joke. Just kidding. I don't mean that. Oh, also with me feeling sick, there is a decent chance. I don't know this for a fact, but there's a decent chance I had COVID. I said the bad word. Corona. There is another cycle of Corona going around, and nobody gives a fuck. It's hilarious. It's sweeping back through. There's a big ol' influx of COVID going around. I shouldn't say it too much because God knows they'll flag me. I'm not trying to spread misinformation. I'm telling you the fucking facts right here. And the facts are, it's going around again, and nobody gives a fuck. Crazy, right? Crazy how it's happening again, and no bars are closing down, no businesses are closing down. There's not like a big government shutdown of any kind. Everybody's just going on like it's nothing. There's a decent chance that that's what I had, and that's why I was having all these weird symptoms, because we know it's a very bizarre virus, right? Yeah. Virus that, now, of course, I'm getting like a twinge in my neck, and I'm freaking out about that too. But, yeah, it has weird symptoms. Everybody has weird symptoms with this thing. So maybe that's what it was. I've never really had certain symptoms like I had this go around. So maybe that's what it was. I didn't lose my taste, I'll tell you that right now. Thank God, because that would have made me lose my mind. Anyway, got all over the place there at the end. Hawaii, Burning Man, COVID. The world's going to shit. What can I tell you? But, hey, you know what? Let's go on ahead and just bless the mood here. We're all in a good mood here. We're on Life's a Garden podcast. Is about positivity. We're here to radiate positivity into the universe, man. So let's go ahead and just bless the mood. Come on, everybody. Yeah. Bless the mood. Bless the mood. Everybody, come on. Sing it along with me. Listener at home, go ahead and just bless the mood. Bless the mood. They also, I found this out too. They made it a real song. It was like a hype video for the Texas Longhorns. They made a hype video with Matthew McConaughey singing the all original song that is Bless the Mood. Come on, everybody. Bless the mood. So fucking insane. I love that exists. It's so... especially a guy like Matthew McConaughey who has so much influence, got nobody. The best part was when he asked the one guy, he goes, come on, brother, help me out here. And he just goes, no. He just puts his hand up. No, I'm good. Cringe. All right, folks, that's going to wrap us up this week. Big week of sports. So have fun. Enjoy the sports. Got lots of them. Lean into what you love. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to embrace all these sports. I'm going to enjoy them. I'm going to enjoy my time watching them. It's not a waste of time, especially because I love it. Only because I love it. That's why it's not a waste of time. If you're doing what you love, it is not a waste of time. It's exactly what you should be spending your time on, is the things that you love. Remember that. And of course, bless the mood. Make sure you go out and bless the mood. But most importantly, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.
Just gotta keep on.